Welcome to Kojo's Math. Let me get this box off the screen and we'll proceed. Today we're talking about percent equations. When we've talked about rates, ratios, and proportions, a percent equation is another way to use a proportion or two similar fractions. A percent equation says A to B is equal to P to 100, where A is, the B is, in this equation, B is the base, or the whole, and A is the number compared to the base. So if I have 3 out of 4, it would be 3 to 4. P over 100 is percentage over 100. Whenever you have these types of problems, you'll always be given 3 pieces of information and you'll be asked to find the extra information. You're going to use the cross products property to solve for these. You could do similar fractions, but I want you to continue to practice the cross products property. Yes, you may use a calculator if you need one. The one thing to remember is that the A to B is really written with the words is over of, where the A is the is and the B is the of. Is the part of the whole. The percent is always based on 100%. So if we do 8 is what percent of 250, we're going to use this proportion or the percent equation. And we're going to identify, remember we always have this number, 100, because that's part of our equation. So we're going to write down the two fractions of the percent equation, and we're going to fill in the 100. So it wants to know the percent. So you could put P or you could put X. Okay? So I'm putting X. So then you have to just get this right. 8 is what percent of 250? Do you see how the is and the of work together now? So 8 is of 250. We're going to use the cross products property, and we get 800 equals 250x. We're going to divide both sides by 250. And we can knock that off. So we get 800 divided by 250, or 80 divided by 32, and we get 3.2. So, is that correct? Is it 3.2% or is it 320%? The answer came out on the calculator is 3.2. Well, since you're finding the number over 100, it's 3.2%. So x equals 3.2%. That makes sense. What percentage is 8 of 250? See how that works? All right. So that's the percent equation. You have to stay balanced so that whatever the number is, it represents the percent or the part of 100. The of is the number that represents the whole or the base, which is always the number that represents 100%. Now all of these problems will be percents less than 100. So we will be doing percents greater than 100. When we're doing percents greater than 100, you're still always going to be over 100%. Percent is still only based out of 100%. So let's look at the next board. This is a pretty quick lesson. Do you see my new member of the family? Mrs. Al. Yeah, Mr. Al is back. He went to Cranbrook. He came back, but while he was at Cranbrook, he found Mrs. Al. And Mrs. Al is blue and green. Do you notice that? Cranbrook. And they decided to come back here because Mr. Al likes these digs better than hanging around Cranbrook all the time. So now you've met the new Mrs. Al. So it's Mr. and Mrs. Al, and they are now residing here at my house. Go figure. I like them hanging around anyway. All right. So here we go. We have 117 is 36% of what number? Well, the percent equation helps us to figure that out, because if we do is over of equals P over 100, we're going to get what 117 is 117 over what number, x, equals, this is a percent, so it goes over 100. We drop the percent sign, and now we do our cross products. 36x equals 11,700. So we went and we divided both sides by 36, and we're finding out what x is. So what is 117 out of what part? So we're going to say 11,700 divided by 36, and that equals 325. So 325 is the number or the base of the whole that 117 is based out of. So 36% of 325 is 117. Now notice we're going to use a percent equation here as well. You paid $39.96, which is 80% of the full price. Well, notice this is important. There we go. That's our percent number, so we automatically know that in the percent equation it's written over what number? 100. So we're going to come down here and we're going to go 80 over 100 equals. Now I have to find the is and the of. If I paid $39.96, which is 80%, there is no it of the full price. So what's missing? The full price. So x is in the bottom and $39.96 is in the numerator. Another way to figure this out to see is that if $39.96 is 80%, these two numbers need to be in the numerator. The $39.96 needs to be associated with the 80%, and the 100% was the full price. When we do this, the decimal place, when we multiply cross products, I'm going to move over here for simplicity's sake. The decimal place is going to move 2 places, and then I get 80x. I have to show my step of dividing both sides by 80. So I have 3,996 divided by 80, and I get $49. So x equals $49.95. I do have to put the dollar sign. Don't just put $49.95. You'll lose a half a point because of the unit. That's it for the percent equation. These things right now go pretty quickly because we build on the knowledge that we already have. The percent equation is just another way to manipulate similar fractions or proportions, cross products property. It just allows us, it gives us a different way to solve for the problem besides just trying to find what a similar fraction. So write 2 things that you learn and 1 question that you still have, and I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.